Hey, what's up, Reefers? I'm Reefer Matt, and welcome back to the Reef Cave. Well, it's time again for the monthly update video, so we're going to be checking out how the tanks are doing. We'll also recap over the year 2024 and see how we got here over the year. Let's have a look. All right, here is the 75-gallon SPS tank. This tank is 6 years old. It'll be 7 years old next month. And right off the get, you can see that the Bacillopora colony that was right there, I finally took it out. So the Leptocerus around it is going to love that because it was shading that, so it's starting to get its color back. I don't know if I want to put an acro there or not. We'll see. What do you guys think? What should go there? Everything else is doing pretty good except for this Jedi Mind Trick is getting beat up still by the Pavona here and the Leptocerus back here. But it's still sort of hanging in there. That's what happens when the coral grow out. They just all kind of grow into each other and, you know, duke it out for space. All the other coral doing pretty good. This acro right here in particular is growing out. I got to trim it because it's growing into the Disney colony there. And I don't want any, any dead branches from either one of those. They're both cool coral. You can see there's a little bit back there from when I had an alkalinity swing. I got to trim down this bird's nest again about once a year. I'll heavily trim that and it'll sort of grow back. As you can see right there, I trimmed some a couple months ago and it's starting to perk up again. The green slimer is just sort of getting overtaken a little bit back there, so that'll help that out too. It don't really sting the slimer, it just shadows it, grows around it and blocks the flow, and it'll slowly whittle it away if I don't take care of it. So I'm going to go ahead and prune some of that bird's nest. And there's some more Bacillopora that just pops up in certain spots. But yeah, everything's going pretty good in this tank. Starting off at the beginning of the year, this tank did have black sand in it. When I started this tank, I was like, you know what? I have white sand in all my tanks. I want to try this black sand. It looks pretty cool. Well, come to find out that black sand's actually volcanic ash, and it has iron in it. So when you get a magnetic scraper like this one right here, it'll grab some of that iron and it'll scratch your glass. I don't know if I can pick up where I got a scratch at or not, but I have a few scratches in this tank from a magnetic scraper, and I just decided to put one back in now that all the sand's gone. It took me about a good 8 months to remove all the sand. I just did it a little bit at a time. I wasn't in a hurry, and it worked out pretty good. The tank didn't miss a beat, so I'm real happy about that. As you can see, I got a lot of growth in here I got to tend to. Fish like to hang out in there though. I just, I try to keep the peace. This Leptocerus here, this 24 case, shadowing the Montipora underneath it, which actually the Montipora is growing over just about everything too. But, I don't want these acros to get overtaken by the Montes or anything either. Like I said earlier about the other coral, it don't really sting it. It just shadows it and blocks flow. So I want to make some more room for these other Acropora, because I like all my corals, so I just want to try to give them all some room. This one back here is doing pretty good. It did brown out on me, so I might take a look at raising my nutrients back up. We'll look at that in a minute. I did get them down a little bit. They're not way down or nothing, but they're down further than what they used to be because I got an algae scrubber, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But this right here, this Montipora digitata is doing pretty good. Still breaching the water. I just fragged a big old chunk of it that was like all right here. I took that out of there and I traded it into my LFS along with a lot of this Monty Cap. I had a big old thing of Monty Cap down there. So now that opens some swimming real estate for the fish down there, because that's where they like to hang out, right around there. So that was good to open that up, get some flow going and give the fish some more room. This Acropora here is growing on the glass. See that? It just decided to attach itself there, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. It's not really hurting anything, but it's kind of neat to see that. So everything else is going pretty good in this tank. I got a lot of urchins, and I got to order some more snails. They help out with the algae, but it's not really a huge deal in this tank as long as I keep up with my water changes and just pay attention to it. So that is the 75-gallon SPS tank. All right, and underneath the 75-gallon SPS tank, another thing that I did is I 3D printed this housing. This is for my Neptune Trident. Here is the video for that if you haven't seen it. If you want to print one out for yourself, or if you're interested in just how to do it, this is the video for that. And I really suggest it because it makes it a lot easier to clean it. And it's just, I don't know, it just looks more tidy. I did have to make this separate cover for the reagents. That is not included in the print, but I may release that. I just have to make a better copy of it because it doesn't work really well, but it worked good enough for me. But I want to make a nice one and share it with everybody else. Another thing that I did more recently in the last few months is I got an algae scrubber. That is right there. I got that from Adam at Battle Coral, so thank you very much, Adam. It is working very well. It lowered my nitrates from around 25, and now I'm plateauing around 10, and that's where I want to be. So I really appreciate that, and it is working very well. All right, here, let's check out Puffys Tank. He's racing back and forth. Look at him. I'm going to stand back here and zoom in. Look at that. This is a 6-foot tank, so 135 gallon. I have, I believe, 6 fish in here. I used to have an eel. I didn't at the beginning of this year, but a couple years ago I had an eel, and I lost the eel and I lost some other fish, and Puffy is the only original fish in this tank. This tank, I believe, is 6 years old, 6.5. It's like 6 months older than the 75-gallon SPS tank. So this was a tank I wanted to do because I just wanted a separate fowler tank that didn't have coral or nothing, just for cool fish that I like to enjoy that aren't necessarily reef safe. So that's why I have this tank. I enjoy these guys. These are my pets. These are the fish that I consider my pets. I do pet them, except for that guy right there, of course, that lionfish. But when I feed them, I'm like, hey, don't bite me. I just give them a little pet. They let me do it. There's Finn. And they're pretty nice for the most part. Finn's definitely trying to be the boss of the tank and grunts at everybody and, say, hey, I'm in charge. But he doesn't really do it to the lionfish. All these guys are eating pretty good. Things are going pretty good now that I got the light in there. Before, I had issues at the beginning of the year with lighting in this tank. And I just ordered a 6-foot light bar, and that took care of the problem. I don't really need a reef light for this tank. I just got one of those cheap, I believe it was like a marine land light, and it did the trick. So these guys are really enjoying that. So no issues thus far, knock on wood, with any parasites or anything. Because I haven't introduced any new fish besides Finn, and he was a year ago back in July, so I've had him for a year and a half now, and I have not introduced any new fish. So these guys are happy and healthy, and they are chunky. And that is the 135-gallon fowler tank. All right, here is the little 50-gallon SPS Frag Tank. I finally cleared out some of the coral from the 75-gallon SPS tank that I had in here, the little frags. I traded them in at my LFS, but you really can't tell by looking at this tank. I just wanted to space these acros out because they were kind of starting to, touch each other and grow into each other a little bit. I still got to put some on the stanchions. In one video I did for Acropora was I trimmed this coral right here. As you can see, if I can zoom in with my fish out of the way, there's little nubs on it now, so I can definitely tell it's an Acropora. I can even see, I know it's hard to tell on the camera, but there's polyps sticking out of there too. So I was real happy to see that, and there's the top to it right there. I knew this because this little frag right here is like 4 years old, and that's all it did was just sit there as a frag. So I wanted to perk it up, and I made a video when I did it, and there's the results, doing pretty good. And I did that with a few other coral in here as well, and they're doing well also. So here is some of my collection. I do like Acropora. I also like Zoas. I'll show you that tank in a little bit. I really like all corals, but acros are one of my favorites. So this is sort of my private collection, and when they get big enough, I share them at frag swaps, a couple here locally, and then any carryover from the 75-gallon goes in here as well. And I do have some cool Australian Acropora back there. It's hard to tell on the camera, but they're like pink and purple and teal. So it's a really cool color. I haven't seen anything like that. So that'll be fun to share those too. And there's Nemo Jr.'s Elegance Coral. He hangs out in there. I don't know where he went, but he's in there somewhere. But that thing's getting huge. That just started off as a little frag I got from my LFS, and it grew out pretty good. Hey, there's Nemo Jr. So that's, his quote-unquote anemone, even though it's a coral. But he really likes to hang out in there. And same thing as the 75-gallon SPS tank. I did do a 3D print on my Trident for this one, only I did it in white. And then I also got an algae scrubber for this tank as well, and that is also helping with the nitrate issue. So thank you again, Adam at Battle Corals. I really appreciate that. And also some of the coral in here from him too. Like that one there, you know, it's growing out, the little green one there, and the ones all behind it in a row there. Then I got a couple contest frags that I'm doing on Reef to Reef. They're kind of okay. They're really slow growers, but this one right here, my fish will stop photobombing, and then that one right there, I dropped out of that one just cause I'm not trying to win a prize. It wasn't looking well for a while. I'm like, you know, I don't want to keep taking pictures and bothering it. So I just left it alone, and it's starting to perk back up. So that's really cool. And this one, I just trimmed the tips off of it to help perk it up, and that worked. As you can see there, I'm starting to get some new growth. And those tips, I got to clean them a little bit. Those are right here. It's got some algae on them, but that did the trick also. So if you haven't checked out that video that I did on perking Acropora up, I have it on the screen. You can watch that. This is the 50-gallon SPS Frag Tank. All right, in this tank, I got some really cool stuff that I want to show you. I didn't used to be an LPS guy. Admittedly, they were my Achilles heel. You know, I was kind of like, I mean, they're cool, they're flowy, whatever. You know, I like SPS and I like Zoas, they're my favorite. But now that they're starting to kind of perk up for me, yeah, I like them. As you can see, they're really starting to color up, and they are popping. They're doing good, except for that guy right back there. But he's coming back, that Chalice. But I got a little bit of algae in here, but it's just hair algae, so I just take care of it. I'm not too worried about it. But look at these torches. Look at that. I was just like, yeah, I'm not a torch guy, but yeah, they're nice. Same thing back here with the Favias. They're coloring out. I'm even getting color back on this Favia here. So I'm real happy about that. My Acans are finally perking back up. So, and I put some Zoas in here because they weren't doing well in the other tank, and now they're doing good in here. I do dose Alpha Reef in this tank, so maybe that has something to do with it. But for a while, the coral in here, they were okay, but they weren't, you know, they were kind of getting mute in their colors, and now they're really starting to come back out. So I'm real happy about that. I just got to take care of this hair algae issue, which, like I said, not a big deal. I just take the racks out one at a time and clean them, and I'll just keep battling it. I got to get some more snails. I'll be doing that soon, and they'll definitely help out. And I'm really, really digging these Goniopora too. Look at those. Yeah, this one right here, this big flowy one, like purple and teal and pink. That's my favorite Goniopora right there. So, you know, I'm really getting into these coral, and you know, it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun again. You know, I mean, it's not like I never stopped having fun. I'm just, you know, I'm like a new reefer again. You know what I mean? You see coral all day, and you're like, but you know, once I start getting into something else that I couldn't take care of really good before, it's real inspiring, and it's really fun. So. You know, I really appreciate people who've been sharing their tips and that, and I've applied some of them, and you know, I appreciate it. This is the 50-gallon LPS Frag Tank. All right, well, here's another thing that I got into is 3D printing. I started making my own designs on a few things and tweaking the designs of other things. This frag rack right here is my original design, as well as this magnetic rack here. I'm still tweaking the design on that one. And I also make some little cup inserts for specimen cups when I sell at trade shows. But I am really, really into 3D printing. I'm just making something for something else right now for my wife. But I really enjoy doing this too. I like printing things out. You know, if I don't have something, like, man, oh, wait a minute, I can make something. And I just think it up, I design it, and I make it. So I'll be making a lot of things for the reefing hobby, and I will be offering them eventually. So I'll be looking for that. I'll have a website with them on there. I already have a business called Frenchy Frags Aquaculture. That's what the FFA stands for. So hopefully sometime this year, or next year, I should say, in 2025, I'll have these available, as well as other things. So I'm really looking forward to that, and it is a lot of fun. 3D printing is just as or more addictive as reef keeping. So it's a blast. You know, you can just think of anything you want. You can print stuff out. So if you're on the fence about it, I highly recommend getting one. Right, and over here in the corner is another 50-gallon frag tank. This one's a tub. I got this at my local Tractor Supply and I converted it into a frag tank. This year I had this overflow box. I made a cover for it and I put my little Eiffel Tower on it for my business. But that way no snails can get down there. But the cool part that I showed in the video that I did on this is that if the water were to rise in there, like that weir got plugged up, that cover will just float away. So that's the cool part. And I really like that. I just, I was thinking, it's like, man, I got a 3D printer now. I can make all kinds of things, and it worked out really good. But the coral in here are doing really good, especially this toadstool. It is probably about 10 inches in diameter right now. I will frag it eventually. I'm not in a huge hurry because it's a beautiful coral and I have the room for it, so I'm really enjoying it. Also, these mushrooms are doing good. And I have lots of GSP in here. I always have. That was original from my neighbor's tank, and I've shared a lot of that over the years, that GSP. Here's some more of the green Nepthia. It's kind of covering itself up right now. Nemo's probably bothering it. There's Nemo Senior. And he likes to hang out in this mushroom right here, this sun-kissed bounce. But the coral in here are doing a lot better. The zoas, I was having an issue with some things, I thought, and got through it. I don't see any pests. I don't see anything bothering the coral. So I'm real happy about that. And I just put a doser on this tank. I used to dose Alpha Reef in this tank when I had the LPS in here, and then I stopped. And I've just bought a doser the other day, the Quiet dose, and I really like it, the Quiet Drive. And it's doing a really good job. I just started the Alpha Reef in this tank. And for the first time, and let's see, I started reefing in 2018, and I got an anemone back then, and then it was a carpet anemone. It was like a little mini, it was a mini maxi anemone. I had it for about a year or so, and then I traded it, and I never had one since. Well, here's a cool bubble tip that I got from Aquarium, my LFS. Look at that. It is my first anemone in like 6 years. So we'll see how it goes. It's just chilling right there. It's keeping the rest of its body underneath the frag rack and somewhere dark. So hopefully it'll stay put. It has for at least a week now. So I really like it. Maybe Nemo will go into it. I didn't really get it for him, but I just got it just because, I was like, hey, I'll try an anemone again. And it's working out pretty good so far, so we'll see. So that is the 50-gallon Softy frag tank. Well, that'll do it for this video. I just want to take a moment and thank you guys for checking out my videos and subscribing if you do. I really appreciate your guys' input and you hanging out with me. You make it really fun, and I like doing this, so we'll see what we can do over 2025. I'm Reefer Matt. Thank you for watching, and happy reefing.